Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be talking once again about that major upcoming winter storm for the northeastern United States. Now, before I get started with this very exciting video, though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather-related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends, family, and social media. Now, for today's comment of the day, I'm going to stick with the theme of yesterday's video, which was, do aliens exist? I'm going to ask you guys, does Bigfoot exist? What do you think? Do you have any stories? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be featuring one of those in tomorrow's video. Now, I wanted to share something with you guys that's going to be very exciting coming up. We have our Facebook group, if you didn't know, called Weather Freaks. I'm going to link that in the description and in the comments, so please click that. It's going to be on the pinned comment, and go ahead and join. You're going to see this link right here for docs.google.com, Weather Freaks Severe Weather Contest 2020, and if you know how to use Sheets from Google, that's exactly the form we're going to be using it in. And what we're going to do is you're going to pick your name, put your name daily in this if you want to participate, and then pick a state that you think will have the most severe weather reports. Wind will count for 1 point, a wind report, a hail report will count for 2 points, and then tornado reports will count for 5 points, and then you put your date stamp. You have to pick at 1 a.m. before the day of the severe weather. So if it's for the 21st through the 22nd, I'm making this video on the 21st, so that's why I said that. But if it's for the 21st through the 22nd, you have to pick by 1 a.m. on the 21st. Or else it's ineligible, and we can see when the edits are made. And then we will have a total score top basically leaderboard here where we're going to rank people, and then we're going to have a prize at the end of the year for whoever wins that. Now, I am looking for help as well with this competition, so don't only join, but if you know how to use Sheets, please let me know in the comments of that post if you'd be willing to help, because obviously I think a lot of people are going to participate in this, and it's going to be very tough for one person to handle this. So if you want to help participate, let me know if you would be able to do that. Alright, anyway, we're about to move on and start talking about our winter storm here. We're going to look at our simulated radar and also our total snowfall at the end of the video. Alright, so our first frame for the simulated radar here, we have, it's going to be about 8 p.m. on Sunday, which is going to be from tomorrow from the time I'm making this video. We see some showers around for the Smoky Mountains down there. Also up for Ohio and Indiana, we're seeing some rain showers, maybe some snow showers mixed in as well for northern Indiana. Let's go ahead and move on, and this is going to be by about 2 a.m. on Monday. And we can see some snow starting up for central Pennsylvania. There we see a lot of rainfall going on for Virginia and North Carolina, so a lot of snow or rain moving into the area. Then by about 8 a.m. on Monday, we see a lot of snow fill in for central and eastern Pennsylvania, as well as northern New Jersey. Also note that a lot of portions of central Michigan are getting some snowfall by this point as well. Let's move towards about, I don't know, this is about 2 p.m. on Monday. We see that heavier snow has really moved into northern Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey, and then a lot of upstate New York, even moving into Connecticut and Massachusetts by this point. But as opposed to yesterday's model runs, you can see southern Pennsylvania really mixes in with rain very quickly and probably won't get that much accumulation according to the models right now, as yesterday they actually showed it lingering a lot longer than today's models do. Alright, now we're about to move on, and we're going to take a look at what this storm does once it intensifies in the Atlantic Ocean and moves more towards a New England snowstorm. Now, even though in the southern regions for this storm it looks a lot less major, for New England it looks a lot more major than prior model runs here. We can see lots of dark blues by this point. This is about Monday night at about 8 p.m. We see that New Jersey and New York have already switched over to rain, as well as a lot of areas in Connecticut and Rhode Island, but we're seeing moderate to heavy snowfall for upstate New York, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and that snowfall is moving into Maine by this point as well. These areas are expecting a lot more snowfall than originally anticipated, so a lot of you might be excited about that, a lot of you might be disappointed about that, but that's kind of where the models are trying to trend with this one. I had a lot of comments from southern New Hampshire and southern Vermont saying they want a lot of snow from this one. It's looking more like that's going to be the case at this point. Let's move towards about 2 a.m. And you can see that the low pressure system is a lot closer to Rhode Island and Massachusetts than it was in yesterday's model runs. This leads to very, very heavy snowfall for upstate New York. Portions in the Berkshires of Massachusetts. We see also Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine getting a lot heavier snowfall than originally anticipated. So this storm is looking a lot more major than what we thought yesterday for these regions, kind of in the northern half of New England, I guess. So we're going to have to watch and see where this one trends. It could just keep trending in that direction and really lead to a very heavy snowstorm for the mountainous regions of Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. Or it could kind of stick with where it is, which would lead to, well, what we're looking at right now. All right, now we're about to move on where this storm is going to move offshore and kind of become a Maine and New Hampshire snowstorm, and then we're going to look at our total wind. We'll also take a look at what the GFS is thinking, and then finally we'll get into our total snowfall maps. Alright, so here is it at about 8 a.m. on Tuesday, March 24th, and you can see that we see New Hampshire and Maine particularly are getting the most moderate to heavy snowfall by this point. Anywhere from, I would say, about Manchester and Concord up through into coastal regions of Maine. I'd say the southern half of Maine is at least getting the most snowfall here from this one. We have a 997 millibar low pressure system with this Miller B nor'easter. That's actually what this is. It's kind of a Miller B nor'easter. Very, very strong winds associated with it. And honestly, this one, if it was maybe in a month ago, it would probably be a blizzard just because we would have snow in more southern areas because we'd have probably more cold available. And with the wind with this one, I would say we would probably be dealing with blizzard conditions, as really where with this one, it's not going to be the case because the very coastal regions are probably going to be mixed in with rain, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you feel about it. I know a lot of my viewers love snow, but a lot of them don't like it, actually. Let's move towards about 2 p.m. on Tuesday, March 24th, and you can see that the snow is basically coming to an end here. We see light snow still for portions of Maine, but it's really mostly said and done by this point. Let's look at that wind. In our green colors, that's where we're at about 20 to 30 knot winds. The yellows is 30 to 40 knot winds, and then the reds is where we're at 40 to 50 knot winds. You can see Cape Cod, Nantucket getting 50 knot winds, and that's very close to where it could move onshore to Maine, coastal New Hampshire, and also coastal Massachusetts, but it's just offshore. And again, those areas would not be in the form of snow, but if they were, that would certainly be blizzard conditions, absolute blizzard conditions. Now for the GFS, just quickly, we're going to go over this. 8 a.m. on Monday, you can see the snow is a lot further north than what the Canadian model showed. And then by 2 a.m. on Tuesday, the low pressure system is much further south, and it's a much warmer solution. We see snow only for the northern halves of Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine by this point. And then by the time we reach about 2 p.m. on Tuesday, it's all said and done. So much more minor than what the Canadian model is showing. So we have a lot of uncertainty still with this storm. All right, now we're about to move on and take a look at the total snowfall from the models here. We're going to look at the GEM model, the GFS model, and then the European model and what they think about the total snowfall. All right, now first off, for the Canadian model here, we have in the blues anywhere from Pennsylvania up through portions of New Jersey and then all of upstate New York and New England. We're seeing anywhere from a dusting to 3 inches of snow in the blue shades. Once you get into the purple colors, that's where we're at about 3 to 6 inches of snow. And then once you're in the pinks, that's where you're at about 6 to 12 inches of snow. And that's surprisingly widespread throughout New England there. So this is definitely a major snowstorm here. We can even see some 10 or 12 inch indications there for New Hampshire and Vermont. So, I mean, very major snowstorm up to a foot of snow. Those green shades there for southern New Hampshire is where the model is indicating 12 inches plus here. So very major snowstorm being indicated here by the Canadian model. For your GFS model, much more minor. We see the blues are pretty much widespread, so definitely 2 to 3 inches of snow will be pretty widespread, but it's really spotty with the purple colors. That's probably only for mountainous regions, and that's where we'd be seeing 3 to 6 inches of snow, and I don't even see any areas with 6 inches plus. So the GFS thinks much more minor storm here, but as we take a look at our European model, this is the most major of them all. The gray colors is where we're at about a dusting to 2 inches of snow. In the blues, that's where we're at 2 to 6 inches of snow. The purple is where we're at 6 to 9 inches of snow. The pink is where we're at 9 to maybe 18 inches of snow. And we can see all those little color shadings, all those little numbers on there. That's how many inches the model thinks for those exact locations. And I see for southern New Hampshire, 15.3 inches. Up there on the Vermont and New Hampshire border, another 15 inch, and then there for kind of the southern White Mountains, I guess you could call it, just to the just to the west of Lake Winnipesaukee, we could see 17.1 inches. So a very major snowstorm here on the European. And this one actually has the most major snowstorm. And it actually has 1 to 2 inches of snow for Boston there as well. So, I mean, if the European panned out, we're going to have a very, very major snowstorm on our hands. Now, for today's comment of the day, I asked you guys yesterday, do you think aliens exist? And Susan M. had a really cool story. You can read this. I'll leave it on screen for a second while I'm talking. It's just too much for me to say. But she said, yes, the aliens exist and have for many years. And she basically had a very, very cool story that her and her husband had. I think it's really interesting to hear stories like this. I definitely believe the story. So very, very interesting stuff there. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to share it with your friends, family, and social media. And I'll see you guys in the next video.